Morning, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Had some rain overnight, came in here later in the evening, and again overnight, so I didn't have to water this morning. And I had a cabbage and some ground meat left over. And so I haven't had glumpkies in a while, or pigs in a blanket, as they're commonly referred to. And so what I did was I took that ground meat and I thoroughly cooked it and drained it, and that's important that you drain off all the grease. And you definitely don't want to put that down the sink because it'll definitely clog up. And then while that was cooking, I took my cabbage, which was a small one. I cooked them in the microwave put a little water in a bowl and cooked it for about 5 minutes, turned it over and cooked it again a little bit. I've let it cool down somewhat, although it's sitting in warmer water right there on the stove in that bowl. And I clipped the bottom knob of the cabbage so that I could easily separate the leaves, and then I kind of pulled out the core, which you'll see over there next to my my cooker, my crock pot cooker. And now we're just going to put them together. Now, when you put together the tomato sauce for this, usually I would use my own homemade sauce, but I've run through all that, and I had almost 100 pints of it that I did up last year from all the growing that I do. One of the benefits of picnic table farming and the amount of farming that I do. So what I did was I took a Hunt's, which is a lower sugar, lower carb spaghetti sauce, and I mixed half of that in with the cooked meat and a half a can of tomato paste. But since you're adding the tomato paste, I wanted to sweeten it up a little bit, so I took 2 packs of stevia, stuck it in with the meat, and then 2 packs of stevia, and stuck it in the sauce for our final covering. And so what I'm going to do right now is just take the cabbage leaves and we're going to stuff them with that mixture. And so here we go. So this is what it looks like right here. It's nice and thick because I don't want it too runny. I've got my spoon ready to stuff them, and I have some of the cabbage leaves that are basically parboiled, and you're going to fold these up kind of like a burrito. And so I'm just going to take my mixture, meat mixture, stick it in there in the center. We're going to fold both edges, and we're going to bake these. So I'm just going to start layering them in there. And I took the core out of the cabbage to make it a little bit easier to get at the individual leaves of the cabbage, which again are parboiled, and was convenient to cook that in the microwave while the meat was being done up. So you've got a nice tomatoey flavor. You got a couple of spices that are in there with the garlic herb. And again, you're just going to fold these and lay them in there. Kind of a rinse and repeat, like with the shampoo instructions. I don't know how many we're going to get here, but I'm going to try and fill this baking dish, one of my good baking dishes, and we're just going to fold these because they're parboiled, so they're a little bit easier to maneuver. And we want to put the seam down on them so everything doesn't squirt out of there as it's baking. There's a nice big leaf. If you parboil the cabbage ahead of time, it's much easier to work with. You know, you can just fold it and basically be done. I haven't had these in a while, and I do like them. And again, you want that sweeter tomato flavor in there with your ground meat, which has become so overpriced with this runaway inflation. You know, those who are on fixed incomes or at the lower end of the spectrum for whatever reason, status financial wise, some through their own choice, some through no fault of their own, this is a good way to stretch some of your ground meat to get more than one meal out of it. So I thought I'd just go through that. Was trying to speed this up as far as the video by having all this done up ahead of time. But I figured we'll just walk it through there. Kind of get a couple of layers in there across the baking dish. I'll probably run out of meat before I run out of cabbage. But that's okay. I might be able to just make enough to fill that. It's a great way to use cabbage. Cabbage is economical. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have enough to get one good layer in there. Pick out one of the last good big leaves. And I'm going to bake this on 350 in the oven. Again, this has already been drained. The cabbage has been parboiled. But we want that to all bake in the goodness here in the oven. So we're just folding these, just like a burrito. And there you have it. We have enough to do the whole bit here. I'm going to spread them out just a little bit to fill the pan. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tomato sauce that I did up, and I'm just going to hit the tops of these. It's a little bit on the thicker side because we added the tomato paste. It's a little bit on the sweeter side, which is good because we added the stevia. So I'm just going to cover this, bake this on 350. And when they come out of the oven, throw 2 of them on a plate or more. You should be good to go. And you won't have all that grease in there and all that. So there you have it. Simple, pretty quick, economical, tastes good, fill you up, and there you go. There's another original recipe, original technique for making the galumkas. Pigs in a blanket. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Always looking for new subscribers. Subscriptions are free. Follow my Facebook, Gardening with Vincenzo. Interesting poems on there. A lot of tips on the gardening on the YouTube channel. Did some automotive tips, some cooking. I'm sure everyone can find something that may be of interest to them. All right, remember to be kind to one another out there. Help your neighbor if you can. See ya.